Good morning. My name is Bill Perry. I'm CEO of Deep Blue Medical Advances. And Deep Blue has developed a novel hernia mesh to address the unacceptably high rate of hernia repair failure. Now, a hernia is a bulge or defect in the abdominal wall, and almost all abdominal hernias are incisional hernias, which is a hernia that forms at the site of a previous surgery. Now, to fix this, you close the defect again with suture, and you reinforce with mesh. And to fix that mesh to the abdominal wall, with a needle and suture, you take a bite of mesh and a bite of tissue, and you tie a series of knots, and that's one anchor point. And you put the anchor points every 2 centimeters around the periphery of the mesh. And there's about 1.5 million of these surgeries globally each year. The problem is that a lot of hernias form, and a lot of hernia repairs fail. There's 2 million laparotomies in the US each year, and 10 to 30% of these become hernias within just a few years. And the long-term hernia recurrence rate, or repair failure rate, is 32% even with mesh, and up to 63% with suture alone. And the main cause of this is when the mesh anchoring fails because the suture cuts through the tissue or mesh. It's literally called cheese wiring. And cheese wiring occurs because the abdominal wall pressures can surge above 32 newtons per centimeter of stress at the edge of the mesh and up to 50 newtons per centimeter in obese patients. And this can happen from routine strenuous activities like coughing or lifting. And this doesn't always happen, but in a variety of conditions, anchor points can fail as low as between 6 and 12 newtons per centimeter of stress. The clinical manifestations of this failure, it's severe. Failed anchor points lead to mesh migration, mesh contraction, mesh tearing away from tissue, and all these can cause a hernia recurrence. The mesh should stay where you put it. But if you look at the photos on the left, you can see some blue arrows that point to these gashes in the fascia. That's caused by cheese wiring. In the middle, you can see a photo of a mesh that's rolled up. When it was put in, it was tacked down at the edges. Those anchor points failed, and it contracted and caused a recurrence. And on the right, there's 2 blue arrows with a couple knots with a suture between them, and down below, you can see a U-shaped cut. It's almost like somebody took a wire and sliced right through it, because that's what happened. We think that mesh should stay where you put it. The challenge is that stress equals force divided by area. So forget the math and think about the snowshoe. The force of a body on the area of a boot causes stress that pushes you down into the snow. Now, the force of that same body over a much larger surface area of a snowshoe reduces stress, and you can walk on top of snow. So greater anchor area reduces anchor stress and strengthens the repair. So our solution is the T-line hernia mesh with a superior anchoring approach. We've eliminated the main point of failure, which is the tissue-suture-mesh interface. And now the mesh and the suture are one. The anchor is the mesh, and the mesh is the anchor. Our integral suture-like extensions provide optimal fixation because there's 15 times the surface area with the anchoring, and this provides 300% greater acute anchor strength. Our current configuration of the T-line mesh is a medium weight, ultra-large pore polypropylene mesh available in 8 sizes, but behind that are multiple other meshes with the same T-line design and shape. And 3 times better anchor strength is a safer and less recurrent repair. The extension anchoring, just by sewing them in, leads to optimal tension mesh adjustment, and the mesh lays flat. Not tying knots is great for the surgeon. It's easier to apply, it's less fatiguing, and now the surgeon won't cut his or her fingers when they tie knots, which happens routinely. And our mesh requires less surgical dissection. So the application is simple. The needles are held in a tray until the surgeon needs it. Then you grab the needle and pull the extension, and you sew it with a bite of tissue, and you go back through the extension, and you cinch it down, creating a lock stitch, and you go back through it again to complete it, and then you cut it. So it's bite through, cut. I can teach a surgeon, I have taught surgeons, with a demo pad outside of an OR in 15 minutes how to put our mesh in, and they can walk in and do the case. In the US, there's 450,000 people with ventral hernias each year. That leads to 370,000 surgeries with mesh, and that's a $750 million US ventral hernia market. Of course, globally, it's far bigger. There's 1.5 million surgeries globally. Our competition, directly put, is the very mature and uninnovated market of mesh and sutures that have all the same failure modes I've been talking about. There's 4 huge companies that have 80% of the market, and there's 10 companies that have the rest of the market. We think these companies are excellent candidates to be partners or acquirers of this technology. Now, what have we done? In 2019, we did our first equity round, and we converted some notes, and with that money, we received our 510K last year. We've already done first in-human uses at multiple clinical sites with highly enthusiastic key opinion leaders as part of our alpha launch that's ongoing. We've received first commercial sales and first value analysis committee approvals. We have multiple issued patents in 3 technology areas, and we have a product family at the prototype stage coming behind our lead product, which was just cleared. This year, we're raising a $2.5 million A2 round, and with that money, we're going to go do a pilot sales launch, expand clinical indications and applications with the FDA, do our clinical case studies and set up our trial, do additional product development, manufacturing optimization, and we think our first viable exit point is in the second half of next year. But if that doesn't happen, we'll go do an institutional B round and keep growing the company. We have an experienced, proven team. I've been doing med device development for 27 years. I've been part of or have led teams that have had multiple exits, fundraisings north of $120 million, been part of an IPO, been part of 17 product introductions and 20 business development deals and multiple regulatory approvals. My partner, Dr. Howard Levinson, is the founder of Deep Blue and the surgeon who invented this. He is a renowned and recognized abdominal wall reconstruction expert at Duke University, published author and speaker. The rest of the team is experienced and proven with a minimum of 20 years, and again, multiple exits among the team beyond what I've done. So in summary, we have a proven executive team that's executing to plan with multiple exits already under our belts. We already have our 510K clearance. We have enthusiastic key opinion leader. These are the top people in hernia doing surgeries, first sales, VAC approvals, multiple issued key patents in 3 areas. All of our financings, equities, and notes have been highly oversubscribed. And in addition to those, we've raised $2.6 million of non-dilutive grants and award fundings. And this is a highly capital efficient product. For a class 2 product with all of this, we've done this for just a few $1 million of equity spent. We have a full product portfolio either on the market or in development. And again, we're going to raise an additional $2.5 million this year. Thank you for your time and attention. I'd be happy to speak with anyone after this in the breakout room. Thank you.